Hello. Welcome, yogis. Hello, this is Jason Gorenstein here, bringing you Facebook Live yoga classes every single weekday. Hopefully you're having a great Thursday, June the 4th, 2020. Time's just a few minutes past 12 o'clock, and we are ready to begin our flow class. Welcome, Jessica. Very nice to have you here. Perfect. So we have a really nice class planned in store. So without further ado, let us begin. We'll find our way onto our mats. Just start in Shavasana pose. So start with your legs extended, your arms extended. Close your eyes. Let your breath be long and slow. I'm going to join you throughout today's practice. So whenever you're ready, just begin. And as you begin to take your attention to your breath, just start to notice both your inhalations and your exhalations, finding your way in this Shavasana pose. And continue to observe your breath. So begin to notice if you can allow the breath to travel down in towards the backs of the ribs, the backs of the shoulders, the backs of the chest. And as you exhale, feel the back body melting down onto your mat. So you can, if you'd like, draw your shoulders slightly forward towards the fingers here, rather wrap those outer shoulders underneath. So you'll start to notice a slight lift in the chest. These shoulder blades move into the center chest here. And then as you do that, can you begin to engage your belly? So draw the belly down towards the floor. Let those frontal ribs begin to soften here. And continue to allow those collarbones to be spread wide apart. Good. Keeping those actions in the upper torso and the upper trunk of the body, draw the knees into the chest. So the arms will be at your sides, but the knees will be hugging in towards the chest here. Very good. And then you're going to take your hands and you're going to place your hands right back behind the back of the head. So once again here, we're allowing the head to lift up. Shoulder blades are drawing up off the mat. So now we're in a slightly rounded position for our upper back. And then you're going to float the legs up towards the ceiling here. As the legs float up towards the ceiling, pull the belly button down towards the mat. Good. Float the right leg forward here. So keep the chest lifted, keep the heart lifted, keep the sternum lifted. Inhale, float the right leg back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, float the left leg about an inch off the mat. So firm the outer thighs in. Continue to engage the navel. Your eyes should be looking at your belly button. Inhale, float the left leg up. Right leg floats on down. Good. This time, extend your arms out to the sides as if you're reaching forward to grab hold of your extended right leg. Inhale, float the right leg up. Exhale, extend the left leg on forward. Once again, left leg is off the floor. Look down to the belly button. See that the belly continues to draw down through the mat. Inhale, float that leg up. Good. Take both hands, raise both arms up towards the ceiling, and then inhale, begin to lengthen the legs forward in front of you. Lengthen the legs forward in front of you. Lengthen the legs forward in front of you. Look towards the belly button here. Keep lifting those arms. Keep lifting the chest. Breathe. Draw the knees into the chest here. Very nice. Begin to rock forwards and backwards until eventually you end up in a seated position. So we're going to begin cross-legged position. Close the eyes just a moment to check into practice and begin. All right. So take the hands, bring the hands into the center chest. And if you'd like, you can join me in an Om. Taking a deep breath in. Good. Release the chin towards the chest. Lift the head. Open the eyes. Find your way into tabletop position. So as we take our way into our first tabletop position, spread the fingers wide apart. Wrap the outer arms in so that the shoulder blades firm into the triceps. Inhale, float the right leg back. So as the right leg floats back, continue to engage those core muscles. Let the eyes look in between the hands. Begin to slightly round the spine here so you can kind of feel your shoulder blades spreading along the back body as you look down towards the floor. Good. Take the right knee. Bring the right knee in through the center chest. So rounded spine here. Really round the spine as you bring that knee in. Float the leg back again. All right. Take the right knee once again. Draw the right knee to the outer right tricep here. So as you draw the knee to the right tricep, a couple of things happen. The weight begins to distribute towards the right shoulder. So can you equally press through the left palm as the right palm? Keep spreading those shoulders wide apart. Good. Float that leg back again. Knee to chest, shoulders over wrists, round the spine, step the right foot in between the hands. Inhale, float the arms up towards the ceiling. Ardha Anjali pose. So as you take Ardha Anjali pose, bend a little bit more deeply into that right bent knee. See if you can lift your frontal ribs off the right thigh. Allow the chest to lift, allow the heart to lift. Maybe look up at those fingers here as you bring the palms to touch. As you exhale, float the hands down to the mat. Press through the left ball of the foot. Step the right leg back to meet the left leg and release the knees down onto the mat. Once again, spread the fingers wide apart. Continue to wrap those outer arms in so that the biceps begin to face the wrists. Wrists are parallel with the front of the mat. Continue to hug in the belly. Continue to round the upper shoulders here. And as you feel ready, eyes are still facing in between the hands, begin to float the left leg up. So as we float the left leg up, what happens now? Our weight begins to shift over towards our right hand and our right knee. Can you bring the weight back to center here? Good. Now keeping the weight in center, inhale, draw the left knee into the chest, round the spine. So continue to round the spine here as you draw the knee to the chest. Press firmly into the tops of the fingers here so the forearms are moving to the front of the mat. Inhale, float the left leg back. Exhale again, draw the left knee to the outer left tricep here. Lift that leg up and be here for a moment. So notice where the weight is distributing. See that there is even weight in both palms. Feel the right palm pressing down. Feel the left palm pressing down. Good. Inhale, extend that left leg on back. One more time, knee to chest, shoulders over wrists, round the spine here. And step the left foot forward in between the hands. Inhale, float both arms up towards the ceiling. And bend a little bit deeper into that left leg. So as you bend into that left leg, allow for the frontal hip points to draw up off that left thigh. Good. Lift the hands up. Maybe look up at the fingers. Maybe palms touch. Exhale, float the hands down to the mat. Step your right foot to meet the left at the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthening halfway. Exhale, hinge at the hips and release the torso down. Inhale, spin the arms up towards the ceiling. Float the palms up. Urdhva pose. Exhale, release the hands down through the sides. Palms face the front of the room. So before we begin to move, let's begin to notice the 4 contact points of the foot pressing down through the earth, rooting down, if you will. Lifting through those knees, allowing the buttocks flesh to lengthen back towards the heels, and engaging that core here. That's going to be important throughout our practice today. Inhale, float the arms up for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthening here. As you exhale, walking the feet back and finding your way into plank pose. As you come into plank pose, spread across the fingers once again. So just like we did in our tabletop pose, can you feel the outer shoulder blades spinning across the side ribs here? So the shoulders are moving away from one another. That's it. As you exhale, lower down halfway, shoulders over wrists, lower down all the way. Walk the fingers back so that the fingers are hugging out against the sides of your rib cage. Draw the forearms in. Draw the elbows in. Begin to feel the collarbones peeling up and spreading across the back of the chest. Inhale, float the right leg up. So as you float the right leg up here, see if you can press down a little bit more firmly through the left foot. Engage those core muscles. As you exhale, release that right foot down. Press the top of the right foot down. Inhale, float the left leg up. Once again here, in order to engage that leg, you have to lift a little bit more deeply through the left inner thigh. Hug the left outer hip in. Exhale, lower that foot down. Good. Walk the feet in, walk the feet in, walk the feet in. Now press down so much through the palms that the arms begin to move to straight. Lift those legs off the mat. Exhale, pressing back. Downward facing dog pose. So taking a few breaths here once again. So you begin to release the head all the way down towards the mat. And continue to feel those hip bones pressing back towards the back of the room. Feel the heels lengthening towards the back of the mat as well. Inner kneecaps lift here. Outer thighs hug in. Looking forward in between the hands, inhale, begin to walk, step, or lightly jump the feet towards the hands. As you inhale, lengthen the chest halfway. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Inhale, floating the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, releasing the palms down to the sides. Again, inhale, floating those arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold here, releasing the chest down towards the thighs. Inhale, lengthening through chest, heart, and sternum. Planting the palms down to the mat, bending the knees, walking, stepping, or lightly floating the legs back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Maybe this time inhaling through Urdhva Mukha, upward facing dog. As you take upward facing dog, walk the toes forward here. Feel the shoulder blades moving into the center chest. Feel the thighs lifting up towards the ceiling. Exhale, keep that action in the thighs and begin to float the hips back into downward facing dog pose. Downward facing dog pose, float the right leg up. As you float the right leg up, see that the left outer hip draws back towards that right heel. Continue to feel both arms and shoulders pressing firmly down into that mat. So maybe the left heel begins to lengthen down towards the floor. Come high up onto the left ball of the foot now, so the heel lifts all the way up towards the ceiling, and draw the right knee into the chest. This should make it a little easier for you to round that spine. Good. Be here for a moment, and then step the right foot in between the hands. Spin the left heel down. Walk the right toes over to the left. Firm the right outer hip in, and windmill the hands up and out to the sides for Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 pose. As you take Warrior 2 pose, begin to sit a little bit more deeply into those legs. Inhale, float the arms up towards the ceiling to straighten your right leg. Once again, exhale, bending a little bit more deeply into that right knee as you lengthen the arms out to the sides. Good. From here, inhale, float the right arm up towards the ceiling, reach up and see if you can bend that right knee even more deeply. The right hip lifts off of the right thigh crease. As you exhale, straighten through the right leg. Take your right hand outside of your right foot. Inhale, float the left arm up towards the ceiling for triangle pose. As we take our first triangle pose today, press through the left heel. Spin the left outer hip towards the ground as you begin to turn the left side of your chest up towards the ceiling. So the left hip continues to mold down towards the floor, while the left chest is so strong that it almost lifts your right fingers off of the floor. Inhale, float that left arm back up. Exhale, bending into that right knee again. One more time. Inhale, floating your right arm up towards the ceiling. Keep lifting the right side of the chest so that that right hip lifts off the right thigh crease. Exhale, windmill the hands down to the mat. Step your right leg back to meet your left and find your way into plank pose again. Now, plank pose, shoulders over wrists, and you're just engaging your core muscles here. So you may need to turn your thumbs out slightly in order to hold this pose. As we take plank pose, notice that everything wants to shift forward to the hands, but you have to press back firmly through those heels here. Good. Shift the breath forward, so shoulders over wrist. Now the heels can come over the toes. Lower down halfway, lower down all the way. Very nice. Release those hands, release those feet down on the mat. Now take your head, place your forehead down on the mat. Begin to take your hands and bring your hands behind the back. Fingers interlaced here. Pull the fingers all the way down the glutes. So the fingers are moving towards the backs of the thighs here. And begin to peel up the chest off the mat. Excellent. As you do this, maybe float the toes up off the mat as well. Okay, good. From here, can you begin to turn your chest, the left side of your chest, up towards the ceiling as you rotate your left hip down towards the floor? Very nice. Inhale, come back to center here. Can you begin to rotate the right side of your chest towards the ceiling as you hug your right outer hip in towards your left hip? Back to center again. Exhale, release the head down towards the mat. Release the fingers here. Palms come to the sides of the chest. Tuck the toes underneath. Inhale, peel up the heart, chest, and sternum. Upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, pressing on back for downward facing dog pose. Downward facing dog pose, float the left leg up. The left leg floats up. The outer hands, or rather the hands, begin to turn out slightly so that you have evenness in the fingertips. Allow that right outer heel to lengthen back so the right outer hip draws back and away from the right palm. Okay, from here now you can let your right ball of the foot, or right heel rather, lift all the way up towards the ceiling. And then draw the left knee into the chest here, round the spine. So as you round the spine, you need to let your weight travel even more forward towards the tops of the fingers. Press firmly into the fingers here as you round those shoulders and lift the knee to the chest. Step the left foot in between the hands. Spin the right heel down. Walk the left toes over to the right side of the room. And then from here, inhale as you firm the left buttocks in. Windmill the hands up and out into Virabhadrasana 2 pose. So Vira 2, take a quick glance at your heels. See that your left heel is aligned to your right arch of the foot. And then once again, take your attention over those left fingers. As you begin to engage the thighs here, allow that right hip to start to move forward towards the left foot. Straighten your left leg and take the arms up towards the ceiling, palms touch. As you exhale, once again, bending into that left knee and sinking a little bit more deeply here. Good. Once again, allow that left outer buttocks to hug in towards the body. You'll notice the right hip naturally begins to move forward towards the left foot. As you press through the left ball of the foot, straighten the left leg again. Inhale, let's windmill reverse triangle pose here. Lift that left arm up. Lift the left hip off of the thigh crease. And then extend the left rib cage forward. So even before you plant the hand down, can you create as much length as possible through the left side of the chest? Then release the left hand down. Inhale, float the right arm up. So as you press through the feet, allow the right heel to guide your right hip down towards your left foot. That's it. Now, keeping that action in the leg, press the right thigh back. So even though the hip is drawing forward, the thigh is drawing back, and see if you can lengthen through the right side of the chest to the right fingers. Good. Inhale, allow the right arm to float you up and out of the pose, bending into that left knee here. Warrior 2 again. Floating the left arm up towards the ceiling for reverse warrior. So bending deeply into that left knee and lifting the left hip crease off of the left thigh. As you exhale, windmill the hands down to the mat. Stepping your left leg back, shifting forward, plank pose, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Shavasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward facing dog pose here. Good. Downward facing dog pose. Begin to look between the hands. Walk, step, or lightly float the feet towards the hands. Inhale, lengthening here. Exhale, folding. Bend those knees. Allow the thighs to come parallel to the floor here. Hug the outer thighs in and engage the core muscles. So even before we lift the arms up, the belly is engaged here. Begin to float the arms forward in front of you. Your thighs are still parallel with the mat. Then begin to take the arms up in line with the shoulders. That's it. Press down through the thighs. Inhale, lengthening the chest. Exhale, release the hands down to the sides. Good. Inhale, floating the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, chair pose. As you release, release the palms down to the mat. Inhale, lengthening through the chest, heart, and sternum here. And as you exhale, I'm going to ask you to take your left leg and step your left leg back. Right knee is lifted here. Hug the outer right thigh in. Begin to press through the left heel and inhale, float the arms up towards the ceiling. Urdhva Hastasana arms. This is called Anjaliasana pose or crescent pose. As you exhale here, take the hands down to the mat, float the right leg back. Shift forward, plank pose, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Shavasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Shavasana. And without wasting any time, we step the left foot forward in between the hands. Press back through the right heel. Right leg is engaged here. Hug the outer left thigh in. As you begin to coil the belly in towards the back of the spine, inhale, float the arms up towards the ceiling. Palms are facing one another. Urdhva Hastasana arms. As you exhale here, release the hands down to the mat. Step your right foot to meet the left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend those knees, bend those knees, bend those knees. And continue to lengthen the chest forward as you take the arms forward in front of you. Sit into a very low chair. Good. Then from here, float the arms up and over the head one more time. Press down through the tops of the thighs to straighten the legs. And take the arms out to the sides. Good. Inhale, float the arms up. Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, hinging at the hips and folding. Inhale, lengthening the chest halfway. Okay, this time, begin to step the right leg back and step the right leg back behind you. Spin the right heel down now. Walk the left toes towards, keep the heel where it is. So left foot is where it is, right heel is where it is. Inhale, begin to float both arms up towards the ceiling. Virabhadrasana 1 pose. As you exhale, hinge at the hip, step the left leg back, and move through a vinyasa. So we're coming into a modified version of C series. It's kind of a hybridized version between C and B, stepping the right foot in between the hands. Walking the right foot over to the right hand. Spinning the left heel down, pressing the left heel back, lifting both arms up towards the ceiling, Virabhadrasana 1 pose. As you exhale, hands come to the mat, stepping your left foot forward to meet your right. Inhale, lengthening the chest here. Exhale, folding. Bending those knees, bending those knees, bending those knees. Again, arms come forward in front of you, a very low chair pose. Arms come up, arms are in line with the ears. Press down with the thighs. Inhale, lifting the chest. Arms come out to the sides. Good. Hands come behind the back. Interlace the fingers. Take the feet about hips width distance apart. Begin to pull the fingers down the back body, just like we did in Shavasana a moment ago. Bend the knees and begin to release the chest down towards the thighs. So the knees are bent here, and you're releasing the chest down towards the thighs. Now, begin to take your right shoulder and draw your right shoulder up towards the ceiling as you draw your left hip back. So left hip back, right shoulder forward and up. Exhale, come back to center. So a nice little twist here. Change. So this time you're drawing your right hip back as your left shoulder is turning towards the ceiling. Nice. Come back to center again. Inhale, float the arms up. As you exhale, forward fold here. Inhale, lengthening through the chest, heart, and sternum. As you exhale, walk, step, or jump the feet back through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Shavasana, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, floating the right leg up. Right knee bends this time. Right hip opens up and out to the side. Once again, drawing the right knee back to center, extending through your right leg. And as you lift up onto the ball of your left foot, draw the right knee into the chest. Step the right foot in between the hands. Bring the right foot right next to the right palm. Spin the left heel down. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1 pose. All right, from here, walk your right toes over to the left. Inhale, open the arms out to the side. Heel to arch alignment between the feet. Warrior 2 pose. Warrior 2 pose, straightening through the right leg again. Inhale, lifting the right arm up towards the ceiling, hinging at that right hip. So the right hip draws back, the left hip draws forward, release the right hand outside of the right leg again, left arm extends all the way up towards the ceiling. So it's very important here that you continue to rotate your left hip down. It actually protects your hips so that your hips feel good. There's no tension in the hips. Then from here, look down towards that right foot. Begin to add a bend into that right knee. So the right knee bends to 90 degrees. You're probably familiar with this pose. Take your left hand and place it on your left hip. Now look forward of your right foot and step your left foot in as you step your right hand forward. Good. Keep your eyes focused on the ground for now. Begin to float that left leg up. So as you press through the right hand, as you press through the right ball of the foot, spin the left hip down, which means concurrently that the left toes begin to spin down and begin to float your left arm up towards the ceiling here. So keep turning your left foot down, but allow the shoulder blades to spread towards the backs of the fingers here. As you exhale, bend into that right knee and softly release your left leg on down. Now take triangle pose again. Keep that right hip turned down here. Or left hip turned down. Inhale, lifting up and bending deeply into that right knee. Take your right hand out and bring it inside of your right leg, lifting the left arm up. Good. Now, releasing, or rather spinning your left palm to the back of the room. Allow your left hand to rest on your right hip crease. Excellent. From here, keep bending the knee a little bit more deeply. As you press through the left heel, draw the left thigh back and maybe grab your fingers to take clasp as you move into a binded pose. Keep bending into that right knee. Keep pressing through that left heel and maybe turn the chest up towards the ceiling. Left hip continues to rotate down towards the mat. The right buttocks continues to revolve in as you bend a little bit more deeply into that right knee. Release the bind, left arm up towards the ceiling. Warrior two pose. Windmill the hands down to the mat. Glide your right leg back. Shift forward plank and optional vinyasa here. Once you've found your way into downward facing dog pose, again, shift forward into plank. Shift forward into plank pose. Excellent. You're going to turn your heels in and your toes out. As you do that, lift through your inner belly. So this is actually an interesting exercise. As you do that, lift through your inner belly and see that you can lengthen your buttocks flesh all the way back to the heels. So this is a way of firing up the abdominal muscles. We turn our feet out in external rotation, and it begins to activate our inner abdominal muscles. That's it. Turn your feet out, and then release back. Downward facing dog pose. Very nice. All right. Downward facing dog pose here. Begin to float the left leg up. Allow both hands to press down. Allow the right outer hip to draw back here. Keep lifting through the right ball of the foot so the right heel is way up, and then draw the left knee to the chest. Round the spine, round the spine, round the spine. Step the left foot in between the hands. Spin the right heel down. Inhale, float the arms up, Virabhadrasana 1. As you exhale, walk the left toes over to the right side of the room. Take a quick glance at your feet. See that your left heel is in line with your right arch, and then release the hands out to the sides so that you found your way into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 pose. Continue to press through the left ball of the foot. Left heel is stamping down to the mat. As you press through the left ball of the foot, draw the left shin towards the left calf to straighten the leg. Hinge at the left hip crease so the left hip draws back. The right outer hip draws forward, and release your left fingers down to the mat as you lengthen your right palm towards the ceiling. The left fingers are very light here. Press that right heel down. Take your right hand and place your right hand on your right hip. Look down to the floor and bend your left knee to 90. As you look down at that foot, step your right foot in, step your left hand out. Inhale, float your right leg up, and allow that right hip to turn down towards the floor. Continue to draw your left outer thigh back. Inhale, float your right arm up. So you can allow your eyes to face the floor. You can bring your eyes to the side of the room, or you may even extend your eyes up towards the ceiling here. Keep that right foot flexed. Bend into that left knee and softly release your right leg back behind you. Triangle pose. Triangle pose, inhale, float the right arm up. Bend deeply into that left knee. Take your left hand inside of your left thigh crease. Allow your left inner knee to hug against your left outer arm. Continue to lengthen your right arm up towards the ceiling. Spin the right thumb to the back of the room. Bend the right elbow. Place the right hand on the back thigh. Maybe as you press through the right heel, begin to float your left hand up and behind to grab your right hand. Now see that your right heel is pressing down and your right hip continues to spin down towards the mat. As that action is happening, your left heel is stamping down and your left buttocks is drawing in towards the midline of the body. The left side of the chest begins to rotate towards the ceiling. Release the palms here. Inhale, float the right arm up. Glide the arm up to lift up into warrior two pose. Reverse the warrior here. Windmill the hands down to the mat. And step your feet together at the back of your mat for downward facing dog. Shift forward into plank pose and hold. So once again here, we feel that spreading happening across the backs of the shoulder blades. The eyes are soft and you're just looking in between your hands. Continue to engage those core muscles. Continue to breathe into the side ribs. Good. Spin both feet over onto the right side and see that the weight is drifted in between both hands here. If you'd like, bend the elbows slightly. Inhale, straighten the arms. Good. Bend the elbows slightly. Inhale, straighten the arms. One more time. Bend the elbows slightly. Inhale, straighten the arms. Back to center. And downward facing dog pose. Nice. Downward facing dog pose here. Looking forward in between the hands. Walking, stepping, or jumping the feet forward towards the hands. Inhale, lengthening here. Exhale, folding. Bending those knees, bending those knees, bending those knees. Utkatasana, chair pose, so sit down really low here. Float the arms up above the head, so engage those core muscles, and then begin to straighten the legs to take the arms to the sides. Very good. Once again, taking the hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers here. Bending both knees, bending both knees, bending both knees. Beginning to lean forward, beginning to lean forward, beginning to lean forward, and taking the arms up and over the head here. Very good. Okay. Now from here, what you're going to do is you're going to begin to lift up through your right leg, and you're just going to float your right knee off the mat. So what's going to happen is you bend your right knee just like kind of a flamenco, and you're just leaning forward here. As you exhale, tap your right foot down and switch legs. So now your left knee is floating off the mat. Very good. Keep lengthening the chest. Tap the left foot down. Inhale, switch legs, and then the right knee is floating off the mat. So we're just engaging the quadriceps here. These are just exercises to build strength in the quads. Shifting the legs and exhale, switching over to the other side. Very good. Shifting the legs once again over to the left, lifting that right leg up. All right, one more. Placing the right foot down. Inhale, floating that left leg up. Nice. Placing that leg down. Inhale, lifting those arms up. Palms face one another. Palms come to the center chest. Right tricep over left thigh. Now, as you take yourself into our Utkatasana twisting pose, hug the left outer hip in. Continue to draw both sides of the chest up. And maybe float the arms in opposite directions here. Right palm floats down towards the floor. Left arm lifts up towards the ceiling. If you'd like, bend the knees a lot. Release your right hand down to the floor. Release your left hand down to the floor. You can take your hands on either side of this bent right leg and begin to shift the weight forward over your right leg as you move into side Bakasana pose, Parsva Bakasana. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, inhale, lifting up, lifting up, lifting up, Utkatasana. So we found our way back here. And as we exhale, we take the other side. So this time we have now our left tricep across our right thigh. Hug the outer right hip in. Draw the left hip back. Lift both sides of the chest here. As you exhale, you can begin to extend your arms in opposite directions. Good. Keeping this, begin to bring your right hand down back behind your left leg. Begin to bend into both knees. So both legs are stacked on top of your left tricep. You shift forward, so you bring your hands to parallel, just like you're about to move into a push-up. And then from here, you shift the weight forward into those hands, like you're taking Chaturanga Dandasana. That's it. Exhale, lower on down. Perfect. Inhale, peeling up as you move back into Utkatasana. Exhale, hands come to the sides. Take your hands to your hips. Bend your knees. Lift the left leg up and drive the left leg over the right. So you're going to take Garandasana's pose right now. Inhale, float the arms up here as you take Garandasana's pose. Bend the elbows and take your left elbow underneath the right. Inhale, lift both elbows up, and to really feel into the eagle pose, lean forward, lean forward, lean forward, and keep lifting the chest up. So both buttocks draw back. So the right buttocks is drawing back a little bit more than the left, and you're lifting through both sides of the chest here. Good. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, releasing your foot down to the side. Inhale, floating the arms up again, taking Utkatasana, drawing your right knee to a bent position, taking your right leg over the left, bending both elbows here, and drawing your right elbow underneath your left. Inhale, lifting both elbows up. Exhale, hinging at the hips here, and continue to lift the chest. So as you drive the right outer buttocks back, lengthen both sides of the chest forward. Continue to feel the elongation of the chest, heart, and sternum. So try not to fold forward. You're lifting up the chest like an eagle. And then from here, unbinding those legs, unbinding those hands. Inhale, forward fold. Take your hands, place your fingers on tops, or right on the big toe mounds of the feet, and release the head all the way down towards the mat. All right, from here, bring your left hand to the left hip. Bend into that right knee. You're still holding onto the right big toe mound. Begin to drive up your right leg. So you may just stay here, okay? You may just stay here where you're drawing the right shoulder back and you're lifting the chest. You can also hold on to the right knee or the right thigh if you'd like. Maybe extend that right leg forward. Keep leaning back as you extend that right leg forward. That's it. Bend into that right knee here. Glide the leg out to the side like we were doing Vrikshasana, tree pose, and extend that right leg out to the right side. Maybe lengthen the left arm out to the left. Good. Back to center again, back to center again, back to center again. Now, you can take your left hand and either hold the knee or you can hold the outer side of your right foot. Grab hold of that foot, lengthen it on forward, take your right arm and place it back behind you, twisting Parsvakonasana pose. Inhale, come back to center. See if you can float that leg up, lifting those arms up. Exhale, releasing that leg down to the side. Really nice job. All right. From here, folding forward, folding forward, folding forward. Grabbing hold of the big toe mound of your left foot. Right hand comes to the right hip crease. Draw the left knee up, draw the left knee up, draw the left knee up. So start with the left knee very close to your left shoulder here. You're lifted entirely through the right side of the body. Then you begin to extend your left leg on forward. So the left leg extends all the way from the left hip. And it's very similar to Tadasana. It's very similar to Parsvakonasana. Very similar to all these poses we just did. Tadasana. Bend that knee. Turn the leg out to the side. So the leg turns at about a 45-degree angle. And then we lengthen that leg out to the side. Keep lifting the chest. Keep lifting the heart. Keep lifting the sternum here. Good. Back to center again. Knee bent. Okay. So now you can either take your right hand, hold it on top of the knee, or you can grab hold of the outer side of your right foot. Begin to lengthen the outer left heel forward as you draw the right outer shoulder back. Turning to the side of the room and breathing here. Twisting Parsvakonasana. Come back to center. See if you could keep that leg lifted, arms lifted. Exhale, lower on down. Bend both knees, bend both knees, bend both knees. Utkatasana. And then sit down all the way onto your mat. Okay. From here, extend your legs out and bend your knees. Navasana pose. So arms are extended, legs are together, chest is lifted. Draw the shoulder blades into the center chest. Hug the belly in towards the back of the spine. Very important here. As you exhale, lengthen those legs forward and keep the shoulders lifted up off the mat. Breathe here. Look down at the belly button. Draw the knees back to a bend. If you want, you could extend those legs fully up. Lower down halfway again. So once again, flexing those feet, hugging the belly in. Keep lifting through the chest. Keep lifting through the heart. Keep lifting through the sternum. Bend those knees. Lift the legs up. Keep lifting through the center chest. One more time. Ardha Navasana pose. So the feet are just hovering off the mat. Flex both feet. Hug the belly and breathe here. Cross the legs. Take the hands to either side of those legs, okay? Legs are crossed here. If you have blocks are really good right now. But you don't need them. But if you have them, they're good. Press down through the hands. Press down through the hands. Lift the pelvis up. See if you can lift those legs up. Exhale, lower on down. 3 more times. I know. Lift those legs up. Lift those legs up. Lift those legs up. Ardha Navasana pose. So shoulders are off the mat. Legs are just hovering off the mat. Again, bend those knees. Lift the legs up into Navasana pose. Ardha Navasana pose. So look at the belly. Keep drawing in the belly. It's your mind. Continue to draw in that belly. Again, bend those knees. Lift the legs up. Navasana. One last time. Ardha Navasana pose. Hug in, hug in, hug in. And then cross the legs the other way. Take your hands. I'd recommend blocks if you have them. Press down through the hands. Lift up the hips. Lift up those legs. All right. Exhale. Find your way back into downward facing dog. You can do a vinyasa if you want. Downward facing dog pose. So downward facing dog pose from here, we're going to jump our feet through our hands. So you'll bend the knees, you'll jump the feet forward, you can cross the legs, and then you'll find your way onto your back. All right? Find your way onto your back here, and on your back, lift the legs up towards the ceiling. Lift the arms up towards the ceiling. Lift the chest up. I know, more abdominal work. What the hell? All right, from here, keep flexing the feet. Keep flexing the feet. Lifting up. Lifting up. Lifting up. Lower those legs to an inch off the floor. Keep those arms lifted, all right? Lift the right leg up. Lift the right leg up, just like we did before. Exhale, lower that foot down. Good. Good, good. Lift the left leg up. Lift the left leg up. Keep lifting those shoulders. Keep lifting those shoulders. Keep lifting those shoulders. Lower the left leg down. Very good, very good, very good. All right, draw both knees into the chest and hug in here. Nice. Take the arms out to the sides. Jartha Parivartanasana. So stomach churning pose. Bring your knees over towards your right elbow as you turn your chest over towards the left side of the room. Allow the left outer thigh to move away from the left side of the chest. Let the left shoulder release down onto the mat. If you want more, let the knees float here. If you want more, let the knees float here. Draw those knees back to center, change. So once again, Jartha Parivartanasana. Knees are just floating. Knees are just floating off the mat. Nice. And then once again, come back to center. Okay, now release the feet down. It's fine to release the feet down right now. You're going to take your hands, Grab hold of the outer edges of the mat. First, walk the feet in. Just see that the feet are at least maybe within a hand's reach of your buttocks. So like you could touch the tops of the feet, or you could touch the backs of the heels. Grab hold of the outer edges of the mat. Roll the left shoulder under. Roll the right shoulder under. And be here for a moment. So see that both the tops of your shoulders are pressing down. Okay, shoulder blades move into the center chest. And as you press down through the tops of the feet, press down through the heels. Just like we did in Warrior 2, stamp the heels down to the mat. Feel those heels stamping on down. Begin to draw the shins towards the calves. Begin to draw the hamstrings towards the thighs. Begin to feel the buttocks lengthening towards the backs of the heels. Belly hugs in. The shoulders continue to open up. The collarbones continue to open up here. And breathe. If you'd like, take your hands, interlace your hands underneath your back, walking the left and right shoulders under, and allowing for the hands to press down, just like we did in Shalambhasana's pose, like we did in the locust pose that we started with earlier today. As you exhale here, lower the shoulders down, release the hands, lower the shoulders all the way down, and release the arms out to the sides. Okay, now Dhanurasana's pose. All right, so if you have the arm strength and if you have the leg strength, you're going to take your hands back behind your head. You're going to draw the elbows in towards one another so that the elbows line up directly underneath the wrist. You're going to walk the feet in so that the feet are just below the knees. You're going to press the pelvis forward, draw the belly in, and lengthen the tailbone back towards the heels. From here, press through those fingers and see if you can find your way onto the top of the head. Pause here. As you find your way onto the top of the head, what's going to happen is your inner forearms are going to press into your outer forearms, just like your shins press into the calves. Your triceps are going to move towards the biceps, just like the thighs move towards the hamstrings. The belly hugs into the floor as you release the head all the way down. Allow the backs of the shoulder blades to set along the back of the spine here. Urdhva Dhanurasana, or upward facing wheel pose. As you exhale, let the head lift up and release the back of the head first, then the shoulders, then the tailbone, then the arms. That's Urdhva Dhanurasana's pose. All right, one more time. So hands come back behind the head. You could always do another bridge pose if you'd like. Arms come back behind the head, spread the fingers wide apart. See that the elbows are right underneath the wrists. See that the feet are right underneath the knees. Press down through the tops of the feet to draw the tailbone up. Buttocks moves to the backs of the knees. Shins move towards the thighs. Thighs move towards the hamstrings. So that's what lets the buttocks lift up. The hands are going to do identical motion. So you're going to press up onto the head. Your outer, or your inner forearms rather, the wrist side of the forearms are moving in towards the outer forearms. The triceps are moving in towards the biceps. And your side ribs are lengthening towards the armpits. Shoulder blades are setting along the spine here. Let the head be soft. There is no pressure holding in the neck. Exhale, lowering down slowly. Back of the head touches, shoulders touch, and the tailbone touches. Bring the knees into the chest here. Cross the legs, right leg over left, right leg over left, and then begin to release both legs over to the left side. So this actually a time you could take a full release here as you lengthen and release. Close those eyes. Then you're going to come back to center, uncross the legs, recross them the opposite way. Scoot your hips over to the left as you take your knees over the right. Release. All right, last but not least, find your way onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest. Happy's baby's pose. Begin to draw the heels towards the ceiling. Allow the outer knees, or the inner knees rather, to draw towards the sides of the rib cage. Let those heels lift up. Let the backs of the legs be long. Breathe here. And gently release those legs all the way down towards the ground. See that the shoulders roll underneath the center chest. Let the tops of the thighs release all the way down towards the pinky side of the feet. Allow the breath here to be soft. So in this pose, we are simply letting ourselves relax. And eventually, you'll just begin to let the breath return to the body. Be here for another moment to just observe and simply notice your body as it is. Notice when we work the body, how our body is to us and how we feel afterwards. After we put in the work, usually we feel the efforts of the work we put in. So as you feel ready here, bringing your knees to a bent position. Rolling your body weight over onto one side. Pressing down through your top hand. Inhale, lifting the chest. And finding your way up and back into a seated position. So let's take our hands into our center chest. And then we'll release the chin towards the chest. We say namaste, namaste, which means I bow unto you, or I honor you fully. So for those of you who have joined us, thank you guys so much for joining for this Vinyasa Flow level 1-2 class. So it's kind of like a moderate intermediate level class. And I hope you guys enjoyed the practice. So I do live streaming classes every single day of the week. All of my classes are posted on YouTube. So any class that you miss, you can always catch it on YouTube. Yeah, I take requests. So if there's any requests that you have for classes, please let me know. Today's class was a pretty strong level 1-2, but a nice class nonetheless. Balanced, paced, and we hit all the parts of the body. So I hope that you guys have a phenomenal day. Jessica, thank you so much for joining. If anybody wants to stick around for another minute, I give my little closing, which I do at the end of every video. And thank you guys again. All right, yes. All right, sounds good, Jessica. Well, you have a phenomenal week. It's an honor to be able to practice with you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Great weekend as well. So namaste. Guys, for anybody else who's joining us or anybody else who's watching this post, my name is Jason Gorenstein. This is my class. I go by @yoga with Jason G. It's an @ sign and then yoga with Jason G. I'm on all platforms on that. And our next Vinyasa Flow class is Tuesday, June the 11th, 2020 at 12 o'clock. If you guys have any requests for your class, whether that's through Facebook or YouTube, please let me know. Once again, all classes are live streaming on Facebook, not YouTube. I post the classes after on YouTube. So if you guys have any interest in finding me on Facebook, at the @ yoga with Jason G. These are ways that you guys can help out. Like sign, love sign if you enjoyed the classes. If you're not following my page already, please follow the page. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, consider if you like the videos. And if anybody feels like sending any contributions, very grateful. They go to things like lighting, sound, audio, video, wardrobe, like everything. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Jessica, thank you so much again. I look forward to seeing you next week. Everybody else have a phenomenal rest of your day. Namaste, yogis. Thank you guys so much. Bye, guys.